teachers going to be there as an important element of dissemination of education. What AI can do, other is that what is the gap we have been seeing for ages, since last many decades, that there is no one-to-one connect of teacher with the student, because the teacher-student ratio in tier one schools are also quite overwhelming.
Jungle.
Welcome to the podcast Tea with a Teacher. I'm Hamid Hassan, founder of Edjobster, and today with us we have Mr. Amit. Mr. Amit's career is around 2 decades across industries. He has contributed in FMCG, retail, healthcare, technology, and now AI in education. He is also a former hockey player. So, welcome to the podcast, Mr. Amit.
Thank you, Hamid. Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Before we begin, I would want you to share with our listeners what you actually do at CurveAI and what is your vision with AI in education.
So, Hamid, the CurveAI, we founded CurveAI last year in August 24, and CurveAI is all about developing vertical AI agents to solve substantial problems of mass scales. So, definitely, education is one of the necessary elements when you try to solve in this part of the world any problem which is of a substantial scale. Along with it, healthcare and online commerce. So, as of now, we are working in these three areas. An assess curve is our full stack, you can say, AI agent, or a combination of multi agent working in tandem to solve substantial problem that we have been facing in education, and to carve an exponential outreach in education, where it can take multiple aspects of education in totality and solve them at one go. So that's the central idea of this product called Assessco.
Oh, that's very interesting. So let's move on and understand how AI plays a role in modern classroom. You would also agree that personalized learning is a big promise of artificial intelligence and generative AI. So, how can AI adapt to individual student needs better than traditional teaching methods?
Simply put, Hamid, the traditional and conventional teaching method is not one-on-one, even to a tune of 20% or something. So when you have AI in play, so that is first thing, that is not biased, and it creates an access where the entire life cycle of a students can be mapped, and various patterns and trends can be analyzed in real time. And those students who are having varied needs, who have been taught with a single element of education by teachers in schools, can now be diversified. uh, this is as simply as I can put to such a vast subject. So an individual need can be drilled down to the last layer, and it can be focused upon through this generative AI and induced learning, or AI agents working in tandem. So that's how it is.
Yes, certainly, I would agree with that because personalized learning AI can definitely help each and individual to understand their pace of learning and then assist them in their learning journey. So, uh, as a as one thing comes up often that teachers worry about AI replacing them. They have a fear that if AI comes, the jobs of teachers will go. But I don't think that that could happen. So should educators see AI as a threat or a tool to enhance their teaching?
It's not like that. It's not going to happen, because teachers going to be there as an important element of dissemination of education. What AI can do, other is that what is the gap we have been seeing for ages, since last many decades, that there is no one-to-one connect of teacher with the student, because the teacher-student ratio in tier one schools are also quite overwhelming. So what AI can do, it can free up a lot of time of non-unit producing, what we call in our tech foray, which they spend on lesson plan management and a lot of admin tasks and running back and forth. It can be freed upon, and they can have all the insights readily available. They can have all the comparisons readily available. I'm talking about assess curve, like it can give unprecedented edge to teachers and institute, where they can in real time they can know at a chapter level that what is the strength of a particular student, and what is the weakness of a particular student, and that freed up time can be utilized in a one-on-one session, which has been heavily stressed upon in our national education policy 2024 as well. So I would say that they would be doing more one-to-one connect, understanding the student, the concept clarification, because as of date we are lacking in articulation of various papers and other concepts like anything versus US and Europe, geographies. So the articulation is still very, very way behind. Even if we take total articulation by IITs or BITS in India, top universities, engineering universities or humanities universities. So those all things can be started, which are more meaningful, in terms of giving the right education to the right student at the right time.
Right. So I think it will certainly help teachers in assisting them to understand at what pace the student is learning. But another thing comes up, like such as students with dyslexia or ADHD or any learning disabilities that are there. Do you think AI-powered learning tools can also support? Can be designed in a way to support students with dyslexia or ADHD or certain learning disabilities.
Most certainly, the speech to text or text to vision or text to speech, the technology and the vision language model, and various other technologies, or the short language model in education which will be developed. They will definitely help these special needs students in a very, very substantial manner, and it will. They can have reach to education in a more simpler manner, and they can have the right tools to get to the concepts as per their peers who are in other categories. So most certainly, and that is the only way forward. I would emphasize on this point that AI only would be able to remove barriers.
So certainly these tools can assist students with learning disabilities if there is a text to speech and helping them from text to other forms, and certainly this can certainly help uh, students with learning disabilities. But if we talk about assessment, where your CurveAI tool that you talk about is mostly on the evaluation and assessment, if we see traditional exams often don't reflect a student's true capabilities. How does SS Curve AI change the way we evaluate learning?
So the first thing is that Assesscurve AI have a lot of quizzes and assignment inbuilt, which is not part of a standard curriculum, but they are emanating from the base curriculum of CBSE, ICSE, IGSE, IB board, or any other state board. So out of that syllabus, which is there running parallel, so we are not creating a parallel system, any friction point, unlike other players at Tech previously. So they can, use a large repository of 10 lakh plus, a million plus, course curriculum, which is from CBSE, IGSE, ICSE, IB board, and many other state boards. And they can create various quizzes and assignments, and they can set difficulty levels, moderate, intermediate, very difficult, or something like that. And they can create their own quizzes and assignment, and multiple times they can generate those questions. Apart from that, people who are into competitive exams, they can check last 15, 20, 25 years of JE mains, NEET, JE advanced papers, and they can also get into kind of a predictive trend analysis, that what kind of questions are emanating, what kind of concepts are coming back and forth, and how they can prepare themselves. So it, apart from their regular studies, they can also have a different view perspective, wherein they can use the base curriculum which is there of their respective board. They don't need to go out of their environment, and they can prepare themselves in totality, and their school and teachers can also at the same time check that if you are playing a quiz or an assignment, then what is the concept where you are scoring high, what is the concept where you are scoring low, and on the basis of that there is a user comparison between class and peers and even sections, so that the talent management can be harnessed to a level where it is a very crystal clear, a guided path, where a school and teachers can sit with students and we can talk them around that this is what you want to do, this is what will help you, and it is all coming out of the base curriculum. So you're not taking any of them out of the environment, that if you study from this hard coded device or this laptop, you will crack the Z or NEET or something like that. So that's what it is. So that is the very important evaluation aspect of assess curve.
So you have actually trained the model on all the curriculum, the content of books of let's say CBSE board, and which is already available there. So you have trained the models on that. So the outcomes and the evaluation will be on the basis of the curriculum that you have
Yes,
trained the
yes,
models on. All right, that
yes.
is very interesting. I think it will make it easy for the teachers also to evaluate, because whatever is available for assessment right now is very limited to what is available on Google on search engines, but not widely trained on the curriculum, the books which is there, because it takes some investment to train these models on that curriculum, as I understand. So,
Yes.
many students also fear that AI driven grading will remove human feedback, because the evaluation and the feedback that will come will be from the artificial intelligence only. So, how do AI based assessment balance automation with personalized evaluation? How do you address that problem?
Yeah, so it's very simple. The design thinking elements have been in place, and it emanated out of a lot of research that we have done in last many years. So the LLM models or the our database also acts as a large language model. So it produces results for teachers, and then there is an accept and change. So teachers can check the recommendation of the model, and then there is a function and a feature called accept and change. So if they accept, it will go as it is. And if they want to change, they can, give that personalized observation over and above. So there we are giving that freedom to the teachers also, that they can also change their observation. They can also put their own comments if they think that certain aspect is important and should be covered. And on aspects of LLM based observation also, it has been trained. Let's say if you give a very vague answer, if you write a very short answer, so it will clearly tell you. It has been trained. The model has been trained like that. That will tell you that it is too much vague answer. You need to include these aspect of a concept. Very clearly, it will tell you in the evaluation sheet, and that's how we have designed the model, and that's how it is very relevant to the current age.
So, do you think that teachers' feedback after the evaluation of the AI should be there, or just AI feedback is enough?
I believe there has to be an option for teachers. So that's why we call it a mix of art and science. So that is where the model will also take in cognizance of teachers' input, and it will also have that learning for future. So it will become more apt in times to come. So there has to be a slight angle of teachers' involvement and human observation over and above what AI is been generating as a model. So that's why a right balance is required.
If there is a lot of conversation around data protection, ethical concerns, and challenges that comes in if you talk about AI technology. So AI in education completely relies on data, but privacy is a big issue. How do AI platforms like SSQ ensure responsible use of student data?
So we have a very individual clusters in terms of servers, instances, where there is strict protocol that we follow with every school, because the product has recently been launched in beta version and now we are taking it to the market. So all these parameters, so I have spent decades in health technology and I have used sensitive data across the world of patients. So my own learning and my own experience, I have put respective measures, and which has been appreciated by wherever we are going in these initial stages. And we have aptly, addressed the concern of schools that yes, we are taking right measures by clustering, creating individual instances, giving schools complete freedom to track, monitor the data, the footprints, and everything. So in that part, in the best practices around the world is there. And as we move forward, we will be getting more audits, in external audits. And that's how it is. That's how you do things when it comes to data privacy. So there will be independent audits. We will be inviting people who will evaluate our methodology, and they will, as we move along, every quarter or every biannual, they will certify us the practices.
Oh, that's very interesting, and I'm happy that you are taking care of the data privacy of each individual student and the school itself. And I believe your experience is going to bring a lot on the table for education institutions. One thing I would like to ask you, your motto is to provide quality education to every child through AI while keeping it budget friendly. So, how do you balance innovation and affordability in AI powered learning? And how do you think that India can achieve the 100% literacy rate and reach the the ground level where education is not accessible to children?
Just a fact. If India wants to uh, put education to the last child, where it can be a substantial education to convert that child into a semi-skilled person, let's say, it may need a couple of $1 trillion. So only generative AI-led education platform like ours can do this extensive outreach. There is no question in my mind about it, and there is no question about it in any other person's mind who can take AI and the vastness of India in terms of literacy ratio into account, and take a sigma out of it. So that is one thing very very clear. And now, second thing is we are also including K5 art and craft, and other aspect of learning, which has been highlighted in NEP policy 2024, where despite money in tier 1 or tier 2 cities, you cannot send your kids to a school where they can have a quality education of art and craft, despite having money, despite having resources, because there is no faculty. So India's first K5 model we are preparing in Assesca, which will be launched in another 10 days time, wherein a student can learn art and craft. We are starting with the Cambridge board and one other, I think, CBSE board, where he can learn all the things about art and craft as per the actual terms, as per the actual syllabus, sitting remotely and submitting to a model which will tell him that this line is not right. This is how you can draw origami. This is how you can do, perspective drawing, and all these again will be subjected to evaluation, either an accept or a change by teacher. So sitting remotely, you can give a quality education of art and craft, which is a very, very necessary and central object of NEP policy, that creativity should be harnessed to develop motor skills in children, because that is very, very important. So that's what we have been doing. So the entire designing of assess curve has been done in a way that it will solve substantial problem at a fraction of the cost. Now, coming about the costing part of your question, if you models are such that they can do $5,000 of compute in 50 cents, so AI will always be cheapest. So I can provide all this at a fraction of the cost, what other players in edtech had done.
I think if the cost is reduced using AI for these for the education, then it will be accessible, and even big institutions would be welcoming such technology and such modules to reach to masses.
Yeah, my
So,
idea is that even in tier three, if a student is paying, let's say, a 5,000 rupees monthly fees, tuition fees in a good school, then he shouldn't be spending not more than 5 to 8%, or at the best 10% for this extra AI-led initiative. So that is the power of AI. In that small amount, I'll give him the access to the best technology assessment, free up the teacher's time. Institute and schools can expand themselves like anything, provide more education, one-on-one connect of teachers and student, and India will definitely grow.
But what I see is, there is what are the biggest challenges for schools and universities is, adopting AI. There is some resistance. It could be, what do you think it is? Whether it is cost, mindset, or something else?
See, I don't see the reason apart from the previous attempts, because whatever you do, you become a part of ecosystem. So there have been players in edtech who have done this. But whatever you do, or you go out, or you remain in the system, but it remains an integral part of the system, like history. So I don't see any challenge as long as you are running parallel with the ecosystem, as long as you are running parallel with the framework of the school. When schools see no friction, when they see their own syllabus has been covered in a much more efficient manner, with a lot of tools for assessment, a lot of tools for getting to the right talent in the right time, getting all the assessments not in a manual but in a tableted form, they will be going for it at a fraction of the cost. But if you say that, see, I will do a parallel system, but I will run it in a different manner, or I will do a completely different system, that schools will not agree to it, because that is an extra initiative on their part, that is an extra load. And then the cost part, and if you say that I'm going to charge 2x of what you are charging, then the answer is no. And I'm afraid that all these attempts had been made in our ecosystem, which we are trying to solve, and that is the problem statement we picked up when we did our initial research.
All right. So means there will be time if the current systems which the organizations are using, let's say schools and universities, if an integration with the AI technology is there and they don't have to have an add-on feature or an add-on software to the current system to disturb their current processes, there
Yes,
will be
yes.
adaptability,
Absolutely,
right?
because it is saving a lot of time and energy and cost. So why don't they go for it? They will definitely go for it. Government will go for it. Government of many other countries will go for it, because Access Club is a global product. So we just need to upload our data repository, refresh our data repository with the curriculum, and we can up and running in Africa in a month, up and running in Latin America in a month.
So, Mr. Amit, let's move on to a section of rapid fire round where I'll ask you some
Sure,
questions and you can answer it in one word or so.
I'll be
So,
happy
what is the biggest myth about AI in education?
that it can replace teachers. It will never happen. It will never happen.
Certainly. One skill students must master for an AI driven future.
They should start learning code at the early level, like from eighth or ninth. They should get into codes. They should get into large language model, how it works, short language model. So they should be doing that. They
Okay.
should they should be inquisitive about how a Perplexity or a ChatGPT works. Not that they
Hmm.
should get prompts and getting answers out of it.
Right. They should know the understanding of the
They should
models.
know house. They
Right.
should know the know house. Yeah, yeah.
Will AI increase or decrease jobs in education?
It will have a balanced job, definitely increase in terms of counselors will be there, rather than a lot of teachers doing a lot of mundane tasks, no one-to-one connect. But I see there will be a lot of personalized engagement with student, where the time has been freed upon. So it will only have a right trajectory or right balance, I would say, but not decreased,
Okay.
because it is there will always be a human touch, because it is education, and it connects with the core of your psychology or your subconscious. That part human only can do.
All right. So tell me a book or resource you recommend for understanding AI in education.
Anybody in this world currently working or not working in AI should be reading The Coming Wave by Mustafa Suleimani and Michael Bhaskar, one of the best book on AI, and covers everything: education, healthcare, everything.
So if AI were a school subject, what would it be called?
How to develop simultaneous intelligence. That should be the subject. So there is something that you
Yes.
imbibed, but there is
Uh-huh.
something should be a simultaneous. You should know what can be done more.
Yeah, I think that could be there. So AI in 2035, what's one thing you expect to see in classrooms?
I would see students getting more clarity on concept, more articulations. They would be developing their own articulations, releasing a
Mhm.
lot of papers at the class level of ninth and 10th. Uh, and schools will have a crystal clear repository of their student performance life cycle, where they know what they are inclined to, and that's how it is.
Mhm.
More articulation, more objective evaluation,
More purpose, more perspective.
more
That's
purpose.
interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was the rapid fire round. And I would like to ask you a few questions before we wind up this podcast. See, the hiring process is also evolving in AI, and it is related to the hiring and job market. So, how do you see AI powered hiring solutions like a Jobster working alongside platforms like SSCure with evaluation in the job market for assessment of the candidates can help hiring managers?
So you must be knowing, as you're in this field, a lot of fake profiles and a lot of other issues are emanating left, right, and center. So what assessments can do? One, it will free up the time again. A human cannot, scrutinize uh, JDs, and on the basis of that, a lot of other CVs that is coming. So one automation, you can put a prompt, and it can, as per the JD, it can, have a keywords, it can select, and put the right profiles in front of you. That is one basic function. But over the time, it will evolve, and through the induced learning, it will start getting the, right parameters with the right company. If the model learns about what is the need of X and Y company currently, and how does the model see the growth, top line, bottom line, market penetration of that company, then it will start matching candidate with the industry. That level of, pristine accuracy will develop, and that is where companies in assessment and hiring should focus upon. That they should not give the candidate who is fit right now, but who would be right fit for the next 3 years time, because that is how you will address the retention. Most companies, they have this, whatever software platform SaaS generally they use. It is only for right now. Now, right now is not the right answer. What now after 3 years is the right answer.
Yeah, because your resume does not just talk about your skills. Beyond that, what hiring managers are looking for is the right attitude, right
Yes,
mindset, which cannot be assessed from just screening the resume. But what we have
yes.
done, we have also built an AI tool to fine tune your resume to match the job description. While you can put in the job description, and there are certain keywords that can be tweaked to
Awesome.
get the resume ready to go through the ATS. But at the end, it's a human resource, it's a human capital. So every HR manager has to assess on the attitude, the potential after that. But you first need to get the interview. But to get the interview, your resume should be good enough that your AI score for the job should be up enough to get you shortlisted. So let's move ahead, and I would like your closing takeaways, your closing remarks on a few things. Like, let's say if a school leader or a teacher is hesitant about AI in education, what's one thing you would say to change their mind?
So I would only say that AI will only sharpen your evaluation metrics and your assessment, and it will free up so much of a time which you would want to spend with the children, wherein you can connect at a core level and understand the psyche, and then you could align. There could be students who are absolutely brilliant in mathematics and physics, but they are more inclined towards commerce or humanities, but they are just going with the stream or with some unforced or forced pressures, external environment, internal environment. So that is where that time can be utilized, to get to the core need requirement of the student, and divert that. Because we don't need only engineers, we also need creative people, we also need commerce graduate, we also need lawyers to have a very healthy talent coming up. Because the figure says that 50% of India is approximately 28 years, around that. And they should
Mhm.
be doing productive work. And that's how it's not going to be done by AI alone. It's going to be done by teachers and fraternity members, but they can only do it once they're free. They have the requisite time, and the AI will be an enabler, not a disruptor in their entire ecosystem. That's my limited message I've been conveying day in and out to teachers wherever I go and meet.
Yes, AI can enable teachers to focus on teaching and
Yeah,
learning part rather than the mundane tasks that they are
absolutely,
mostly involved in, and that consumes a lot of their time. So I also
absolutely.
I'm a believer of AI assisting teachers rather than replacing them. So you have an amazing tool. So where can our listeners follow your work, connect with you, and if any school wants to use SS Curve, so how can they reach out to you?
So we are, deputing channel partners across India. That is one way. Then they can always come to our LinkedIn page, raise a request, comment. They can visit our web environment website, assesscurve.ai, www.assesscurve.ai, and they can come there. They can visit our LinkedIn page. We are available everywhere, and our team will get back to them with a demo request or something like that. So we have kept it very, very simple. Simplicity is the best philosophy for us at SSK.
Yeah, all right. That's interesting, Mr. Amit. Thank you so much for joining us in this
My
episode of
pleasure.
podcast. And it was really interesting to understand your perspective on AI and how your passion and your vision on solving the greatest problems in education fraternity for teachers and schools and also for students for their growth to build a future for them. And certainly, there is no future without artificial intelligence, without generative AI.
Absolutely.
It is there. We have to be adaptive and we have to embed it in our own systems and processes. So, thank you so much once again. And I
Thank
would
you. Thank you, Amit.
request all our followers to follow Mr. Amit's work and also follow Edjobster YouTube page or LinkedIn or wherever you are listening to this podcast. Thank you so much.
Jungle.